Hello, show with no namers from around the world, coming to you live from the dog days of summer. I know it's sweltering, abrasador, but we are gonna cool off and have some fun. And for that, can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? That's more like it. Ahora sí. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's time for lift off, baby.
9, 8.
Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Down with me. The show with no name time on Fun Radio. It's a show with no name. Come on, folks. Let's rock and roll. Let's go. What day is it? I don't care. What time is it? Don't give a damn. Me importa un bledo. I know one thing's for sure. I came here to have some fun today, and I hope you came to do the same thing, amigos. No, I know you came to do the same thing because you do it week after week. That's for you guys. Show with no namers. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Show with No Name for another exciting week in summer, at least if you're in the Western Hemisphere. The Northern Hemisphere, I should say. Here in Spain, oh man. Well, you guys wanted it to get hot, right? Because we had like a rainy June and a kind of a cool June, and I wasn't complaining. I love it. It was awesome. But now you spoke and you said, "Oh, esto no es calor." Well, now you got it. For opening your trap. Una forma de decir la boca, your trap, la escotilla. Opening up your trap, your pie hole. ¿Te sabías esa? Your pie hole es otra forma de decir tu boca. Shut your pie hole. How many idiomatic expressions have we looked at so far? Well, grab a pen and jot them down, and most important, say them aloud. Say the different idiomatic expressions we look at aloud, and this way you can participate on the show and not just improve your comprehension, but also improve your speaking. That's what the whole question of the week section is about. But you can speak in every single section. Don't wait for it. So speak of every day, a little bit every day, my amigos. And if you need a helping hand, si necesitas que te echemos un cable, we've got a website with tons of amazing initiatives, but I can't remember the name of the website. ¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. I can't hear you, folks. Sing it with me. Pop quiz. Yeah. Is that all you got? Come on. Let's go. All right. Now we're talking. quiz. Scream it. Pop quiz. Come on. Get up. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Oh, yeah, buddies. It's our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And welcome to everybody, wherever you're tuning in from. It's great to have you with us. Just a quick reminder, everything that we do here on our pop quiz section daily comes from Von Tienda. It's vontienda.com. So if you benefit from these exercises, if you love these exercises, then stop by. It's vontienda.com, and it's awesome because we've got something for everybody. Maybe, one of your weak points is phrasal verbs, or I don't know, maybe you just need to go over the grammar because, it's been so long. Or maybe you're one of those people who just, pronunciation is not your thing. I get it. I've seen students with all kinds of strengths, vamos a decir esa palabra juntos, strengths and weaknesses. And you know what? That's great. The greatest thing that can happen is that you're aware. It's a blessing. Yeah, it's a blessing to know your strengths because you can exploit them. And it's a blessing to know your weaknesses because that's where you need to attack. That's where you got to work extra hard to make it happen. So you've got the gamut, la gama completa, over at vontienda.com. Also, if you're looking for courses, as I said, we can give you a hand over there, and that is vontienda.com. No, excuse me, grupovon.com. Von Tienda's the materials for self-study, and grupovon.com/cursos destacados is about courses and what's going on in the Vaughn world. And again, if you're not following us on social media, I think that's kind of the best way. We also have a mailing list, which you can join as well, and you get special benefits for being a part of the Vaughn Club. So today we're going to take a look at something from one of my books. This book is The Milk 2. Remember, I have 5 books. I have English Everywhere. I have the bestseller, This Book is The Milk. I have This Book is The Milk 2. I have This Book is The Shit. And English on the Go, Aprende Inglés, Viajando por el Mundo. And that one's cool. Well, they're all cool in their own way. But remember what I just said? Pronunciation, phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, whatever you need to work on, well, you've got it all. In all of my books, I try and really, really touch on all of my students' needs without being too general. So you'll see in all of my books, you've got things that have to do with pronunciation, you've got tricky words, you've got totally native expressions. So, folks, we're going to listen to this over here. This is from This Book is The Milk 2, and it's available at vontienda.com. Listen carefully, and then I'll have a challenge or two for you. Always look on the bright side of life.
You're always in such a good mood, huh?
Hey, man, I try and keep a positive outlook.
Outlook. Yeah, I like that word. That's what appears on my mail.
Yeah, that's right. Microsoft Outlook. And no se dice Microsoft. We say Microsoft.
And it's software, microscopic.
Yeah, and it's a perspectiva. From context, I think everybody could see. I like to keep a positive outlook.
Una buena perspectiva. Yeah, positive outlook. Nice. Let's keep talking about computers.
Well, you can learn
it's
so
funny
much.
How you say computer, and we say ordenador, because for us, it's something that ordena cosas to put it in order, right?
Right.
But for you, it computes. It's like mathematical.
Have you seen my desktop? There's nothing ordered about it.
Not at all. Desktop, nice word too.
Desktop es porque va encima de tu mesa. Tu mesa de trabajo is your desk. Y el que va encima de tus piernas.
Oh, laptop.
Lap. ¿Y qué es lap? Eso significa algo.
El regazo, we say.
I always think of Italians. Regazzo.
Ragazzo. El regazo es donde pones a los ragazzi, desde luego. Te coges al niño y te lo pones encima de las piernas, el ragazzo.
Whoa, that's it reminded me of Santa. When you're a kid, you sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, very cool.
Yeah, so let's talk about more words related to computers. For example, web. Web, it's easy.
Oh, man.
Like a spider web.
The web, sure. A
red.
network, otra forma de decir esto. A network.
Yeah.
Que también en inglés, network is a verb. To network es conocer gente, mezclar, to mingle, to network. Very important. You know it, working in television and stuff. Networking is important.
Networking is very important.
Going to parties, chatting with people, being social.
Yeah. What about the word banner?
Banner. Bruce Banner?
Like Bruce Banner. I hate banners when they pop up.
Oh, those damn pop-ups.
Uf, yeah. Son, ¿cómo diría? Son carteles, ¿no?
Yeah, well, it's a pancarta.
Pancarta, yeah.
Yeah, a banner, which, of course, on the internet, it's estas cosas pesadas que nos suben, ¿no? Que siempre they pop up, como acabas de decir.
Yeah, aparecen, te saltan, ¿no? Pop,
they pop up. También surge, si usamos esto, oh, do you know your name popped up in a conversation yesterday?
Yeah.
Surgió. Se puede decir came up, pero evidentemente el popped up te da un poco más de que no se esperaba. Right?
Exactly.
It was all of a sudden. Esto se usa muchísimo, de repente.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. All of a sudden. Yo lo digo 1000 veces al día.
More than suddenly, right?
Right. Yeah. For some reason, I guess it rolls off my tongue a little bit easier. And there are so many apps as well that we can learn from. I mean, just look, I'm looking at my computer right now, and I have iTunes, las canciones de internet. No? iTunes.
Some tunes. I like this tune. You can say it that way.
I would say it. Oh man, great tune.
Great tune.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
Also, to tune, it's another word, a musical word is. Let me tell you, and you tell me in context, Damian. I have to tune my piano.
Ya, tengo que afinar mi piano. Yeah.
Because it's out of tune.
Está desafinada.
So see how we play with words? Tenemos que jugar.
Yeah.
Porque al final, y mira luego los Tiny Toon Adventures. Toon ahí es de cartoon, pero tune también porque hacían canciones, los Looney Tunes.
Melodías locas.
O sea, que siempre estamos jugando, nos creemos muy listos. We think we're, smart, and we always like playing with names.
Yeah. I have all those songs on iCloud.
Oh, yeah. La nube now, the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud.
I think of candy. Yo sigo pensando en marshmallows, esas nubes.
Those, you call it marshmallows, not clouds, do you?
No, we don't call them clouds, but having a sweet tooth, this is the first thing that popped into my mind. Oh, and one more thing. When we're talking about computers, I've had students say, I work in informatics.
Oh, no.
And I said, I don't know what that is. I know what informatica is. How would we say that in English?
IT, right?
Yeah, I work in IT.
In IT.
And another really interesting...
What does it stand for?
Information technology.
Information technology. IT.
Right.
There's the show, IT Crowd.
The IT Crowd, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's a nice one.
Que no es lo mismo ser parte del IT Crowd, right?
Yeah.
The IT Crowd, el grupo de moda. The IT Crowd, se escribe igual, es como lo pronuncias. Yeah.
Okay, the IT Crowd.
The IT Crowd es los Paris Hilton, bueno, en mi día.
Los que molan.
Los que molan, los guays. The IT Crowd. And what I was going to bring up before we get going, antes de marcharnos, there's so many words that have changed meaning. Like when I was a kid, tweet was something a bird did.
Yeah.
And to post was send something in the mail. And, so all of these words, your wall was the thing in your house that held up the roof.
But everything has changed.
So it's interesting how words change as well. ¿Vives en Madrid ¿Y quieres que tus hijos aprovechen a tope los meses de junio o julio? Estás de suerte, porque en los Urban Camps de Vaughan, tus hijos aprenderán inglés sin darse cuenta y sin clases, mientras viven 1000 aventuras y realizan actividades desarrolladas por nuestros monitores certificados Vaughan, y sin dormir fuera de casa. Elige tu Urban Camp Vaughan en Madrid entre nuestras 7 ubicaciones: Chamartín, Arturo Soria, Ciudad Universitaria, Aluche, Las Tablas, Mirasierra o Moratalaz. Las plazas vuelan. Llámanos al 91-700-1199 y te informaremos. O reserva en nuestra web, grupovaughan.com. Urban Camps Vaughan. Vivirán su mejor verano aprendiendo inglés. ¿Te vienes? All right, my amigos. You can get more information about that by following us on social media or going to grupovon.com/cursos destacados urban camps. We've got also our weekend camps for adults. We've got, Weekend Town, it's called, but it's kind of a weekend getaway where you are immersed in English. And then we've got our classic Vaughan Town, which is definitely a turning point, un antes y un después in anybody's English. All right, I see we've got a lot of show with no-namers joining us. Hello, amigos. Thanks for joining us on this Manic Monday. Oh. All right, let's see what we've got. I hope you guys enjoyed that audio from This Book is the Milk 2. 2 escrito T-O-O o T-W-O. I think they're homophones on the show and no name. All right, let's see what we've got. Let's see. I'm going to play with it since we were being punny. Punny is gracioso por el juego de palabras. We looked at the word ragazzo, I always say. You know, I love to laugh when I hear that word. Okay? We looked at the word top, right? We said desktop. And then we mentioned the other top, el portátil. Well, we have an idiomatic expression in English that uses that word. And it means that you live a life of opulence. You live a luxurious life. I mean, it is, another way you say it in Spanish, al menos según word reference, according to word reference, it's nadar en la abundancia. So you're swimming in abundance. I like it. We don't say you're swimming in it, but we would say if you're rich, man, he's rolling in it, right? He's got so much money, he's rolling in it. But this is an idiomatic expression that has that word that we heard, and it's the word regazo. I always say ragazzo, ragazzi, ragazzo, ragazzo. It reminds me of those words for boy and girl in Italian. Falda, you can also say. It's funny because it's something you only have when you're sitting down. When you're standing up, it disappears. Yeah. So this is an idiomatic expression with the word. If you don't know it, don't worry. We will look at it. Vida de lujo, ¿no? Vivir una vida de opulencia. It's an idiomatic expression. The second one, we talked about mingling. We talked about being the life of the party or the life and soul of the party. All right, well, I'm going to ask you if you know this one. This is an idiomatic expression that we use with an animal, a beautiful animal that has colorful wings. And it's a word we use, excuse me, it's a word we use when we say somebody has a very social life. They're very outgoing. This is a word I use to describe my daughter constantly. Let's see how they say it. Es una persona muy A ver, vamos a ver. Una persona sociable. Exactly what I said. All right? So that is the second one over there. Somebody who likes to mingle. Somebody who's not a wallflower. A wallflower es alguien que no mezcla con la gente. Y otra vez vimos to network, to mingle. Network me suena más a business. And mingle sounds more like, let's have some fun. Let's chat with some people. All right, the next one. That's number 2. The next one, we were talking about technology there. And so I want to see how you would say somebody who's really good at technology. Because let's be honest, there are people who can't change, their screensaver on their phone, or they can't delete photos. They don't know how to do it. And then you have people, usually your niece and nephew and people of that generation, right? So, the question, how do you say somebody who controla la tecnología, tiene destreza, tiene tablas con la tecnología? All right, and that episode, that chapter of the book was on technology. And then I've got a bonus for you, because I know you can handle it, my amigos. How would you say, and it's using a technology word that we heard in the audio, how would you say estoy en la gloria? I'll give you a clue. It's a place where you store your photos and videos. We mentioned it over there. We also said the word marshmallow. I'm just trying to get you guys going in the right direction. I see so many people checking in. We'll check in with you guys in just a moment. Thanks so much for joining us today. So, number 1, you've got to use the idiomatic expression vivir una vida de abundancia. No, vivir como Dios manda, como quieres. That's number 1. Again, all of these I want you to use in context. Like the second one, it's real simple. I just used my daughter as an example. Who would you use? Maybe it's you. I used to be una persona super social, and now I'm social, but I also need time to not socialize. And back then I didn't. Well, my daughter is one of these. As I said, I gave you a little clue there. It has to do with an animal. And that is actually one of my daughter's favorite animals, now that we're on the subject. And the third one was alguien que tiene destreza, que no solo se puede aplicar esto a la tecnología, pero se puede aplicar a muchas cosas. Alguien entendido, alguien conocedor. All right? So we'll take a look at that too. I see we've got people answering. Oh, wow. You guys are really, really fast. And the bonus one, it reminded me of the expression estoy en la gloria, mejor imposible, which I think that's the only movie title in Spanish that was translated correctly. Mejor imposible. Do you know the title in English? The one with Jack Nicholson and the little dog, the Shih Tzu. Anybody? You know it? Chris Valrol. It's called As Good as It Gets. Y eso es la expresión en inglés. Tan mejor como puede estar uno, right? This is as good as it gets. So, my amigos, good luck in our pop quiz. We've got a lot of stuff to do today in the show. When we come back from our first commercial break, we've got our spelling bee, homophones, and so much more. Today's show is full of surprises, amigos. Surprises around every bend. Did you know that word? Well, I just wrote it down. It is a double trouble. To bend is doblar o plegar. Pero also A bend, sustantivo, es una curva. A bend. Bueno, tiene sentido, piénsalo. Hace curva. It's a bend. And we use it in the idiomatic way as well. We have got a lot of stuff coming around the bend in part 2, a la vuelta de la esquina. Wow. How many idiomatic expressions have we looked at in part 1? Well, you can expect many more in part 2, 3, and 4. And I'm even rhyming. Whoa, I'm on a roll today. I'm feeling your energy, amigos. I love it. We'll be right back with tons more, so stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's time for part 2. I can't believe how fast part 1 flew by. Thanks for chilling out with us. Estar de tranquis, estar de relax. I know it's hot out there. It's sweltering, but we'll get through it together. You gotta keep hydrated, folks. Drink lots of water. And some fruit never hurt anyone. La fruta nunca hizo mucho daño. No, siempre viene bien. It never hurt anyone. All right, folks. Well, we've got so much to do in this part of the show. We are going to kick off with our Say What soundbite. Then we've got to check our pop quiz answers. After that, we're going to do our spelling bee. We've got music. We've got movies. We've also got our double trouble, homophones. Wow, we've got the whole show ahead of us. And we've learned so much already. And I imagine you didn't start your day, your English day, here with me. You started with Rob Grams and the Probo Show. Or maybe Richard Vaughn. Or perhaps Fitz and his program, No Excuses. You can have a master class with Fitz every morning right before this class. Oh, and what's the name of the show after this class? Sing it. Jimena will test your English. Yes, she'll test your English. Jimena will test your English with Nacho. Yeah! Woo! Wow! That's right, Test Your English is on Vaughn Radio at 12:30 with Jimena and Nacho. Say what? All right. Did you ever think an English class could be this exciting? All right, amigos. Well, part of why this class is so exciting is because of you guys. You make up the class, right? Componéis. So thank you. Thank you for making this a cool class where everybody can chill out and feel supported, apoyado. As I always tell you, I don't only applaud your English effort, but I applaud the way you treat each other and the way you treat me. It's beautiful. It's magical. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, folks, let's take a look at today's Say What soundbite over here. As always, you're going to hear this audio clip 4 times. You'll have rewind. You'll have 4 chances to write it all down. Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
You know, Australia was where we first had our major hit. So, you know, it's a great heartwarming experience, shall we say, you know, and the audiences have been always very full and very warm, and made some good friends over the years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Wow. A very, very crystal clear speaker, I must say. So you know what I expect today? I expect all of you, each and every one of you, whether you are listening live or whether you're listening to the podcast, I expect you to be able to get it all today. All right, let me give it to you a second time and we'll discuss it.
You know, Australia was where we first had our major hit. So, you know, it's a great heartwarming experience, shall we say, you know, and the audiences have been always very full and very warm, and made some good friends over the years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer, or football as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace. Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. You bet it is. Pues claro que sí. But today we're not going to take a look at something from This Book is the Shit. We're taking a look at the second one in that collection of that trilogy. It's called This Book is the Milk 2. And I see we've got a lot of students who have participated in our pop quiz today. Awesome job. Awesome job. We've also got a lot of people participating in the Say What soundbite. So we'll take a look at your comments in just a moment. But first, let's check our pop quiz. All right. The first one was to live in the lap of luxury. That's right. To live high on the horse. To live, the one I was looking for was obviously to live But remember this, the preposition's important. It's not on the lap of luxury or at. It just sounds weird. So write down the whole expression. That's why I always tell you to use full sentences, right? His brother-in-law is living in the lap of luxury. He's living in the lap of luxury. Great job. That's number one. And let's pronounce that word together. Luxury, luxury. All right, number two. My daughter is a social butterfly. Speaking of butterflies, we've got a similar idiomatic expression. When you're in love or you're nervous, you've got butterflies in your stomach. So that one we agree on. But you don't say una mariposa social. We call them a social butterfly. All right, and the third one, if somebody understands technology, they get it. They are tech savvy. That's right. That person is tech savvy. The suffix savvy, it doesn't just have to go with the word tech. But in today's case, we looked at to be tech savvy. And the bonus one, to be on cloud nine. Otra vez, esa preposición es muy importante because we're not in cloud nine. Nope. We are on cloud nine. So great job. Also, you can say I'm in seventh heaven. So to be, but careful, otra vez, no tiene nada que ver. Uno tiene el, right? Listen, I'm on cloud nine. I'm in seventh heaven. So wonderful job in our pop quiz, my amigos. You're rocking and rolling today. Now, I want to see how you guys do in the most challenging section on our show, the Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, amigos, welcome to your Spelling Bee here. This is the part of the show where I spell some words for you, and I go really, really fast, especially in round one. So are you ready? Are you all set? Okay, here we go, my amigos. Good luck to you in round one of today's Spelling Bee. You do not have to capitalize these words today. Again, repeat, you do not have to capitalize these words. Everybody ready? The first word is EMBEZZLEMENT. The second word is KIDNAPPING. The third one, TRESPASSING. The fourth one, DISORDERLY space CONDUCT. The fifth one, WHITE dash COLLAR space CRIME. And the sixth one is GRAND space THEFT space AUTO. These sloping structures are often used as a euphemism for life, as they're full of ups and downs, twists and turns, and surprises around every bend. And these humongous modern marvels have come a long way since the day of ice tracks. taller, faster, longer, more airtime, meticulous theming, and non-stop thrills are the name of the game. Pull down your lap bar, hold on tight, and get ready to enjoy a radical ride. All clear. We'll ramble on about roller coasters on this week's episode of FYI. Welcome to For Your Info.
En inglés.
You got it. That's right, folks. If you haven't heard the episode, it dropped last Friday. It's a special episode of FYI for several reasons. It is the last episode of season 6. Thanks to you guys, FYIers and Show with No Namers. Also, it's about one of my favorite topics, roller coasters. And the third part, I have a special guest, Jesus from Photo Parks, Photo escrito a la americana, PH, Photo Parks. And he participated in English. He did a wonderful job. I'm sure you guys will agree. And if you have any feedback, I will make sure it gets to him, or you can follow him yourself. But I tasked him. To task is dar una tarea. So una tarea is a task, but to task someone. And he said, well, what do you want me to talk about? Why do you need me? And I said, well, listen, I thought something you could do, Jesus, is show the Spanish population, or not just Spanish people, but people who live here, how lucky we are as far as theme parks and unique rides are concerned. And he knocked it out of the park. So if you haven't listened to that episode of FYI, give it a listen. And then we're kicking off season 7, which season 7, we're changing gears a little bit. I mean, we're going to keep looking at one thing. I'm going to focus on one topic, but instead of a topic, we're going to look at the 30 most common verbs. Remember, you can get those podcasts wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. And don't forget, you know who's back on the weekends? Guess who's back? Back again. Yes is back. Tell a friend. Yes is back. 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 That's right. The Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez is back on Vaughn Radio. Don't miss it, my amigos. It's the Hour to Empower every Saturday. But don't forget, if you can't tune in on Saturday, you can listen to it on a Monday, Tuesday. There's no wrong way or day to listen to it. Why? Well, you'll improve your English and you will work on empowering yourself. All right, let's see. We were looking at our spelling bee. Freeze. Alto. You say alto? Freeze. Put your hands up. You have the right to remain silent. Let's see if anybody got it. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got some spelling bee winners in round 1. And I've got to tell you something. These were really tough words. Why? Well, mucha zeta. La zeta, yo sé que a veces os liáis con Z versus C. And not everybody pronounces it as clearly as I do. Z and C. Z and C. So, my amigos, here we go with round 2 of your spelling bee. Good luck. Let's see if you guys can figure this one out or not. I'm sure you'll be able to get it on round 2. Everybody ready? Here we go. The first word is EMBEZZLEMENT. The second word is KIDNAPPING. The next word, TRESPASSING. The fourth one, DISORDERLY space CONDUCT. The fifth one, WHITE dash COLLAR space CRIME. And the last one is GRAND space THEFT space AUTO. ¿Tus hijos se quedan en Madrid los meses de junio o julio? Están de suerte. ¿Sabes que en Vaughan tenemos el mejor plan para aprovechar el verano? Hacer amigos, deportes, actividades divertidas y reforzar su inglés. Nuestros Urban Camps en Madrid son campamentos de día y sin dormir fuera de casa, donde tus hijos aprenderán inglés sin darse cuenta y sin clases, gracias a nuestros monitores certificados Vaughan. Este año tenemos 7 ubicaciones diferentes, dotadas de las mejores instalaciones para que elijas la que prefieras. Chamartín, Arturo Soria, Ciudad Universitaria, Aluche, Las Tablas, Mirasierra o Moratalaz. Las plazas vuelan. Llámanos al 91-700-1199 y te informaremos. O reserva en nuestra web, grupovaughan.com. Urban Camps Vaughan. Vivirán su mejor verano aprendiendo inglés. ¿Te vienes? Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. Welcome to our Double Trouble section. And by the way, great job in the spelling bee. We'll take a look at those words in just a moment. But since we have to go to a commercial break in about 2 minutes, I decided instead of starting it and then finishing it in the third part, I would give you the double trouble. This gives you some time. Remember, guys, I'm always working on time management, trying to fit everything in and also, of course, keep the show going. All right, well, here it is. Today's double trouble. Él pensaba que estaba libre de culpa, que salió de rositas. Vamos, okay? So, él pensaba que estaba libre de culpa, pero le han enganchado. Le han pillado. Okay? Remember, you have to use the same word twice. So, él pensó que estaba libre de culpa, que salió de rositas. Pero le engancharon. Fue enganchado, le engancharon, right? Pero le han enganchado, lo han pillado. I think you get the idea there, right? To capture, to catch, right? So, my amigos, that's your double trouble. As always, you've got to use the same word twice in that translation. Hey, well, at least I didn't make it a triple trouble or a double trouble. That could be even harder. All right, well, before we go to our commercial break, again, great job in our spelling bee, folks, and also in the Say What. Today's words were all crimes. That's right. That's why I put that police siren on in the background. They are all crimes, and actually very common crimes in the United States. I just Googled most common crimes in the United States. And the reason I chose these is because I like crime. No, I'm joking. I think it's horrible. But I think, just like you guys, we are all fascinated by it, especially us normal people who are not involved in crime or criminal lives. We just live normal, law abiding lives, which, by the way, if you haven't heard the episode of FYI on crime, there's an episode and I give you some of the most common idiomatic expressions, like the one in today's Double Trouble, salir de rositas. So the crimes we'll look at in just a moment. The reason I chose them was because today in 1870, the DOJ came into existence. The DOJ. Do you guys know what that stands for? I don't know if I imagine British people would know what it stands for, even though it's not in their country, or they may call it something different. Do you know what it stands for? Anyone? DOJ stands for Department of Justice. So we're going to talk about some idiomatic expressions that have to do with crime. We'll take a look at some crimes as well. Order! Order in the court. Orden. All right, we don't need too much order. This is a zoo. My amigos, we'll be right back with part 3 of today's show with no name. We've got so much to do, so stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is time for part 3. Can you believe it? We are halfway through the show. Oh, and I've got to let you in on a secret, amigos. Next week, I won't be here. The other Vaughn Radio presenters will be here, but I will be on my first cruise with my wife, my mother, and my lovely daughter. We'll be cruising around the Mediterranean. How exciting. So you'll have repeats next week, and then the week after that, we're on break. Translation: this is our last week before the summer break. The good news: as I said, I'll have episodes of FYI coming out. You'll have new episodes all of July, every Friday. Plus, as always in the summer, I release a lot of the exclusive bonus episodes. So make sure you're following wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. Last week, we took a look at coasters. This week, coming up, we're going to take a look at the verb to be. To be or not to be is the question. So, I think it's going to be a very useful season. They're all useful because you learn about all different topics. You become well-rounded, right? But also, I want to make sure you know those common essential verbs that we use inside and out. All right, let's listen to our Say What soundbite for the third time.
You know, Australia was where we first had our major hit. So, you know, it's a great heartwarming experience, shall we say, you know, and the audiences have been always very full and very warm, and made some good friends over the years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome, folks. If you can't get that, I don't know what to tell you, especially knowing your level. You guys have an amazing English level. All right, let me give it to you for the fourth and final time.
You know, Australia was where we first had our major hit. So, you know, it's a great heartwarming experience, shall we say, you know, and the audiences have been always very full and very warm, and made some good friends over the years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to groupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. More information about Vaughan Town at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. Also, guys, make sure you are following on social media. And this way you'll have information about special deals, events, new openings of offices, and all that jazz. And of course, tons of content, which you can get for free every single day. The only thing we ask, I'll speak for everybody here, I think, is that you spread the word. You know, when people see you and say, Grace, Laura, or, you know, Born to Iron Man, whatever, whoever, and they say, Turani, wow, you sound great. What happened? That's your cue. Eso es tu pie para decir, oh, have you heard of Vaughn Radio? Here, give me your phone and I'll download it for you. I'm not very tech savvy, para usar la palabra de antes, but I think I can handle that. All right, well, my amigos, that applause is for Double Trouble. The first part, he thought he was off the hook. And to be off the hook is there were no consequences, right? Another way we say this is to get away with murder or to get away with it. So you could say he thought he got away with it, right? Por ejemplo. That's fine. It's correct. He thought he got away with it. But this is a double trouble, and we have to use the same word twice. So he thought he was off the hook. Now, this is I could have made this a triple trouble, and I was really nice today because off the hook also means awesome, right? How was the party? How was the concert? Oh, man, it was off the hook. Off the hook. Estaba que se salía. Estaba, awesome. So, again, context is everything. Also, what else can be off the hook? A phone. Guys, well, not anymore, but back in the day when we had landlines and you tried to call somebody, you would get a busy signal if the phone was off the hook. So no estaba colgado. It was off the hook. So look at that. 3 meanings over there. Off the hook means you didn't get in trouble. No consequences, right? Off the hook. Awesome. Excellent. off the hook, which, as I said, the third meaning of it is, wait, I just lost track here. So I said the one of not getting caught, off the hook, and I forget the third one there. I know I just said 3 of off the hook. Well, either way, another way of saying the genial one is off the charts. So have you heard or have you seen his new house? It's off the charts. It's off the hook. I guess he's living in the lap of luxury. So the second part is, in the end, he was on the hook. And to be on the hook means you got caught. Think of it from the world of fishing, no? De la pesca. If you're on the hook, you got caught. If you're off the hook, te escapaste. As always, we're looking at how words can be ideas. Great job, amigos. Let's take a look at our spelling bee over here as well. We looked at some juicy vocabulary. As I said, today we're taking a look at crime because the DOJ, the Department of Justice, officially kicked off or came into existence today in 1870. We call it the DOJ. The first word in our spelling bee was embezzlement. And as always, I want you to pick it apart. No te quedes solo con embezzlement. Hay un verbo, ¿no? Si embezzlement es malversación, trinquete en México. Oh, that's cool. Suena menos. Cuidado, has hecho trinquete, mucho trinquete tú. And that's what it sounds like to me. Malversación sounds mal. Empieza con la palabra mal. So if embezzlement is the charge, well, then it's to embezzle funds, no? Fondos, to embezzle money. All right? Embezzlement versus embezzle. All right, the next one. The next one was kidnapping. And this is a weird freaking word. It is. Because kid is niño and nap is siesta. So kidnapping, shh, the kid's napping. Hey, it's a stupid joke, but it's true. Depends where you take the pause there. So kidnapping, you call it secuestro. Secuestro, kidnapping. The verb is to kidnap. The person is the kidnapper. The note they leave is the ransom note, right? The ransom, you say rescate, if I'm not mistaken. Again, these law words, these crime words, are words I hope you never have to use. Oh, and not only do we have an FYI episode on crime, but also in English Everywhere, my first book, which comes with audio, you've got an episode on law, ley, no? So take a look. I think it's interesting. And who knows? You want to know the basics, you know? Trespassing, invasión de propiedad privada. So if you're trespassing, then you are a trespasser, okay? So el verbo es to trespass, el sustantivo es trespassing, y el otro sustantivo, la persona, is a trespasser. All right, the next one. This one, you know, this is, I think I could have been arrested many times for this. Thank God I was off the hook, para usar la expresión. Alteración del orden público. It means you're being British. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Well, kind of. All right, I'll change that. You're being a hooligan. This means you're behaving rowdy, you know, in public. So, desorden público, conducta, alteración del orden público. We call it disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. That is number 4. The fifth one, white-collar crime. Now, first we have to look at this adjective, white-collar. What does that mean? Well, white-collar means corporate, if we're comparing it to blue-collar. So he lives in a blue-collar neighborhood. un barrio de obrero, blue collar. Piensa, el mono es azul, ¿no? So he wears a uniform, a blue collar neighborhood. The other guy wears a dress shirt in the corporation, right? White collar. So corporativo significa white collar crime. And white collar crime is crime that is done by a corporation. Crimes such as embezzlement or bribery, right? To bribe es sobornar. And the last one for all you video game lovers out there, Grand Theft Auto, que es robo de coches. And I guess it makes sense because if you look at the video game, what is it about? It's about stealing cars. Grand Theft Auto. So there you go, my amigos. Wonderful job. Excellent job in our spelling bee over there. A lot of songs that have to do with the law as well. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. And what about Judas Priest? Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. And, well, many other ones. I know there are a couple by The Clash as well. Well, think about it. If you're a rock and roller, well, what's your middle name? Your middle name is Disorderly Conduct. Pues no sé por qué lo sigo diciendo así. Disorderly Conduct. Joder. Perdón por el joder. No me sale la palabra ahí. Disorderly Conduct. So, public drunkenness. You know these ones. All right, my amigos. Let's move on because we've got so much to do in today's show. We're going to go to a party right now, and I know you guys are social butterflies, and you're going to join me in today's famous birthday trivia. That's right, my amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. And let's see what we've got going on for famous birthdays today. Today in the year 1934, this American director, actor, and producer was born. Chris Falrol. I know you're going to know him. He passed away or passed on in the year 2008. And, well, he was in the business for 40 years. That's a serious career. He's received, I shouldn't use it in present perfect, honestly. He has received, he's dead now. He received, hey, así vemos el por qué decimos he received en vez de he has received. Si siguen vivo, hombre, también es it's a technicality, right? Hablando de palabras de ley, sobre la ley, tecnicismo, a technicality or a loophole. So, yes, he has won 2 Academy Awards and a Primetime Emmy Awards. He's also been nominated for 3 Golden Globes and 6 BAFTAs. He won the Academy Award for Best Director and Best Picture, Mejor Película, in Out of Africa in 1985. Also, he was nominated for Best Director for They Shoot Horses, don't they? Disparan los caballos, no? Seguro que se llama otra cosa. He was also the director of Tootsie. Have you seen? That's a great movie. That's with Dustin Hoffman. He can't get a job as an actor. He's a struggling actor, a starving artist, so he dresses up as a woman, and it's pretty funny. What else? The Way We Were, also The Firm, and Sabrina in 1995. He's also produced and acted in Michael Clayton, The Fabulous Baker Boys. That's a great movie with Michelle Pfeiffer. Sense and Sensibility, The Talented Mr. Ripley, Cold Mountain, Husbands and Wives, The Player, Robert Altman's The Player, and Eyes Wide Shut. That's number 1. quite a career. Number 2, this person was born today in 1935, an English actor who passed in 2020. But he wasn't just an actor. He was a bodybuilder, somebody who lifts weights, a weightlifter, you could say as well. And he portrayed Darth Vader. Well, not the voice. The voice was done by American actor James Earl Jones, but he was the one wearing the Darth Vader costume. Any Star Wars geeks in the house? Also, he played the manservant in Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. And tragic story about this guy, because he thought that they were going to use his voice in Star Wars. And then when he saw the movie, he goes, wait, George Lucas, sorry, not Steven Spielberg. George, what happened? He's like, yeah, well, we went with a deeper, darker voice. And that is the voice of James Earl Jones. So this guy got the short end of the stick. Como decimos, no le salió bien la jugada. And last but not least, one way or another, you're gonna find out who this person really is. You're gonna find out, 'cause she wrote this. And when the lights are all down, I'll follow you all downtown. Her real name, no, I'm not going to tell you her real name, because, well, that's what I want. Well, you can give me also her stage name. Her stage name is Rubia. And she doesn't only have that song, One Way or Another. She's also got, what about love when it was a god? Uptight on, had a heart of glass. She also has, call me on the line. You can call me anytime, call me. I'm talking about, well, we've got a winner here. Nice job, Chris Valrol. Number 1, actor Sidney Pollack. Number 2, David Prowse. La expresión que quiero que te lleves es, he got the short end of the stick. And last but not least, Deborah Harry. And her name is Blondie when she hits the stage. She was born in the same town as my mom, Paterson, New Jersey, a town that was once really beautiful and still has some beautiful, waterfalls and things like that, but it is crime-ridden. Ridden, no es que está montado, aunque es un buen double trouble. I've ridden the roller coaster, me he montado en esa, pero también crime-ridden es repleto de, ¿no? Que tiene muchísimo de algo. So that's very sad. Let's hear from birthday girl, Debbie Harry, Blondie. She says, Australia is where we first had our major hit. So it's a great heartwarming experience, que reconfortante, shall we say, diríamos. The audience has always been very full and very warm. Full, llenos, que lo dan todo, and warm, cariñosos, afectuosos. And I've made some good friends over the years. Y he hecho buenísimos amigos a lo largo de los años. I'm really looking forward to it. Lo espero con mucha ilusión. Esta estructura lo usamos siempre en inglés, así que tienes que controlarla. I'm really looking forward to it. Here's birthday girl, Blondie.
Australia was where we first had our major hit. So, it's a great heartwarming experience, shall we say, and the audiences have been always very full and very warm, and made some good friends over the years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show. show with no name.
Well, my amigos, it's time for Name That Lyric over here on the show with no name. As always, this is where we learn a little English from music. And today we've got a group called Dr. Hook. Wait a second. Hook? Didn't we look at that word today in our double trouble? To be on the hook? To be off the hook? So let me give it to you in context here. Let's see if you know which meaning I mean. His album was off the hook. His debut album was off the hook. Libre de culpa sería ridículo, ¿no? So era la bomba. It was off the charts. And it is Dr. Hook, and it is sharing the night together, compartiendo esa noche juntitos. He says, you're looking kinda lovely, girl. Kinda is kind of. Kinda is bastante. You're looking kinda lovely, girl. No, sorry, I misread it. Lonely. Mira cómo cambia. Una letra. One letter changes everything. You're looking... Me sonaba. I was thinking, wait a second. That doesn't sound like the lyric. You're looking kinda lonely, girl. Tienes pinta algo solitaria, sola. Would you like someone new to talk to? Would you like? Would you? El you, fijaos, yo no digo you, digo ya. Would you like someone new to talk to? Oh, yeah, all right. I'm feeling kind of lonely, too. Me siento algo solitario también. If you don't mind, si no te importa, can I sit down here beside you? A tu lado? Me puedo sentar a tu lado. If I seem to come on too strong, esta es buena expresión. To come on strong. Ir demasiado. Ser demasiado como entusiasta. Okay, calm down. You came on a little bit strong. Te pasaste ahí un poco, ¿no? Si estás intentando ligar, como empezaste muy fuerte. You came on too strong. So he goes, I hope that you'll understand. I say these things because I'd like to know. Me gustaría saber if you're as lonely as I am, and if you mind, si te importa. Folks, let's sing it together. It's Dr. Hook sharing the night together. All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. I've got some great news for you. A little surprise. I've decided to make the bonus episode of FYI on crime available exclusively to you guys, Show with No Namers, Vaughn Radio listeners. So usually right now, I can tell you, it's only got about 100 downloads. So only 100 people have listened to this. So when we come back, I'm going to play it for you guys, my amigos. And hopefully you'll learn some other idiomatic expressions. We'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around.
Sharing the night together.
Enjoy, amigos. FYI exclusive crime. Hello, and welcome to the bonus episode of this week's FYI on crime. I remember an ad campaign when I was a kid, and it was a dog. I can't remember his name now, but I remember the catchphrase, the slogan was, take a bite at a crime.
McGruff.
I'll share it with you guys on Patreon so you can take
His
a
name?
look at it. but it was one of the many. His name was McGruff. Crime. And just like we looked at in our drugs episode, we've got a war on crime, a war on drugs, a war on everything, it seems. But nothing seems to be getting better. Start out by taking a look at the profile of a serial killer. And obviously, anyone can be a serial killer. If you lose your mind in a second of passion or something like that, well, I guess that wouldn't make you a serial killer. But I guess anyone could be a killer. But anybody who repeats that and likes doing it and gets pleasure out of doing it, what kind of personality traits do they usually have? Well, they're usually psychopaths. They usually display narcissism and a lack of empathy in general. A lot of times they have patterns of childhood abuse or trauma. And research suggests that adverse childhood experiences, such as neglect, abuse, or even witnessing violence, let's say there was domestic abuse in their home and the child witnessed it, that affects them. Of course it will. Even verbal abuse, not directed at the child, can affect them. Remember, they're little sponges, guys. They feel everything. But all these things significantly increase the risk of developing criminal tendencies later in life. Also, you've got substance abuse and addiction. These are other things that can contribute to criminal behavior. And obviously, if you already have mental issues, that will only exacerbate them. And a lot of times they're linked together. In order to keep up your criminal activity, you're selling drugs or weapons. And this is how you support your habits. And I imagine if you're high on drugs, you're not really thinking very clearly. Let's take a look at some fun facts right now. We'll start off with necrophilia. Yay! Lots of fun there. Well, I'll get to it, guys. Necrophilia is not fun, but there's something that's pretty crazy here that's going to blow your mind. In case you don't know it, I imagine you do. Necrophilia involves sexual attraction to corpses, to dead bodies, and it includes the act of having sex with said corpse. This is surely illegal, right? Right? Well, there is no federal law against it in the United States. In some states, necrophilia is a felony offense, as we said, the most serious kind. But in other states, it's a mere misdemeanor. And, are you ready for this? Here's the cherry on top. In over 20 states, there is no law against necrophilia. And this is not just in the United States, but many other countries do not have established laws against the act of necrophilia. I mean, I guess maybe it's common sense they're thinking? I don't know. It seems like a dead issue. Okay, not funny. Well, did you know that in the country of Samoa, it is a crime to forget your wife's birthday? Imagine that. I guess the wives there are really happy. They're like, you forgot my birthday. You're going to the slammer, buddy. And the slammer is another way of saying prison. You're going behind bars. You're going in the slammer. And think about it. The sound that the door makes, slam, when they close the prison doors. So Samoans, or anybody who's visiting Samoa, don't forget your wife's birthday. It could be punishable by law. Some more fun facts. If you ever get thrown into the trunk of a car, this is a very famous scene from the movie Goodfellas, Uno de los Nuestros. Well, if you ever happen to owe the mafia any money and you get thrown into the trunk of a car, there's a little thing you can do, a little trick, a little hack that can help you. What you have to do is you have to find the back tail lights and then kick them out. Then you stick your arm through the hole and you start waving your arm like a crazy person. Supposedly, the driver can't see you, but the people behind you will. And there have been many cases where this has saved lives. Hey, I hope I never have to use it, but it's good to know. And if you're like me, well, maybe you're short on cash. As the expression goes, a day late, a buck short. That means nunca llego. Well, don't worry. You can sell your organs on the black market. Do you really need your kidney, tu riñón? Yeah, I think you do. I think it's your tonsils that you don't need. But your kidney, I think you need. Well, if you can get by without it, you can pocket 160 grand, folks. That's on the black market. And they say that the donor usually receives around $5,000 of that. So that's a lot of money for the middlemen there. But there's a huge market for selling body parts, and organs. Let's talk a little bit about arson. As I said, arson is the act of lighting a fire on purpose. 86% of arsonists are male. And it's true. I hate to be sexist or stereotype here, but it seems like all the girls I grew up with stayed away from fire instinctively. And all the boys I knew, we would run to it. And I know people who are even pyromaniacs. They love watching things burn. Now, I love sitting next to a fireplace like the next guy, but I would not want to light a match in a place and watch a forest burn or something like that. It's actually quite scary, which, by the way, we've got an episode on fire. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. Now, here's an interesting fact which makes you really think about who's in your circle. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program, they say 65% of people personally know their thief. So that means there's a very good chance your neighbor or an acquaintance or even a friend or a family member could attempt to rob you. Trust no one. Hey, I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust anyone, but don't be too trusting. I remember reading something like that as well. Like most sexual abuse or sexual offenses are from somebody near the family, not some stranger. So I know when my daughter's with anyone, whether it's a neighbor or even family members, I'm watching like a hawk. And you have to know the right questions, and you have to teach your kids to be able to identify not just bad people, because bad people, it's clear, this guy's bad. Just look at his face. You know, he doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look like a good person. But a lot of these people, a lot of these aggressors, a lot of these perpetrators, they pose as nice people. They pose as, oh, I'm your friend, trust me. So what I'm always telling my daughter, it's not just bad people we have to be careful with. We have to be careful with people who are weird. Weird meaning they make us feel weird. And I remember reading that somewhere, and I'm applying it with my daughter all the time. As a parent, this is something that scares you all the time. Your kids, you don't want to leave them out there vulnerable. There are a lot of wackadoos, a lot of people who are really screwed up and should be behind bars. And they're not, because they haven't been caught yet, maybe because they got out on parole. To be on parole is, I think you say libertad condicional. It means you're out because of good behavior. But if you do anything, you're back in. So you have a parole officer and you have to check in with that person. And other ones have just gotten very light sentences, a slap on the wrist, as I said before. We mentioned GTA before, Grand Theft Auto. In the United States, the best-selling vehicle for the last 43 years is the Ford F-Series pickup truck. And it also takes the top spot as the most stolen vehicle in the United States as well. The title used to be held by the Honda Civic. I guess these are top targets for car thieves. Let's take a look at some crime in pop culture. As I said before, it's everywhere. In series, there are documentaries, there are docu-series. I know with my wife, I've seen one on Jeffrey Dahmer. I've seen another one on Ted Bundy. I've seen another one on O.J. Simpson. And then all of these other ones about these little town crimes. But obviously, they're making them because they're selling, because they have viewers, because people are interested. It's even a genre in the world of podcasting, true crime. And I even subscribe to some of these podcasts. So we all have that morbid curiosity, don't we? My favorite movie that has to do with crime, I would say off the top of my head, is Shawshank Redemption. You call it cadena perpetua, which in English is, a very logical word, a life sentence, sentencia por vida. This is a movie that stars Morgan Freeman. Did you catch the irony there? Freeman, he's in prison. Well, he does break out. Oops, I didn't mean to give you a spoiler. Also, if you haven't seen that film at this stage in the game, you are missing out. It's a great movie. Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and it's written by Stephen King. Some other crime movies that stand out, the Godfather series, all three of the trilogy. Goodfellas, which I just mentioned. Pulp Fiction. Scarface, which we looked at in our drugs episode. Once Upon a Time in America. Chinatown, that stars Jack Nicholson. The Untouchables, the story of Elliot Ness and the Chicago Organized Crime Syndicate. The Departed. City of God, which was more about crimes committed by kids. in poor ghettos. I remember seeing that at the movies in New York City, and it really impacted me. You've got Heat with Pacino, De Niro, and Val Kilmer, Gangs of New York, based on a true story, A Bronx Tale, that's directed by Robert De Niro. He also is in the movie. It's fantastic. It's also a story about family and love. American Gangster, which is based on a true story as well. Carlito's Way, that's another one with Al Pacino. Donnie Brasco, where Johnny Depp goes undercover. And we heard a clip from that as well. We heard the forget about it scene. These are all not just movies about crime, but they're all really good movies. And the last one on our list is Reservoir Dogs. But I guess you could put any Tarantino or any Scorsese movie in there. Also, don't forget about Training Day. That's another one that has to do with crime and law enforcement. It stars Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. And a lot of the extras were members of the Crips and other gangs around the area. So if you said, wow, that movie really looks authentic, they really were gangbangers, guys. I can just imagine when payday came. Okay, here's your $100 for the day. What do you mean $100? We said $150. Cough it up. Suéltalo. I mean, you're dealing with gangbangers here. They don't really read fine print or sign contracts too often. Everything is done under the table. Paying somebody under the table can be employing them illegally without papers. Obviously, it means hidden, a escondidas. On the DL, on the down low, as we say. And now we're going to face the music. Oh, there's a good idiomatic expression. And this is to face the consequences. But what we're going to talk about is music right now. And even the names of bands have to do with death and killing and crimes in general. There's a whole genre called gangster rap. Bow, wow, wow, yippee, yay, Snoop Dogg's in the motherfucking house. Bow, wow, wow, yippee, yay. I mean, Dr. Dre has a song called Natural Born Killers. There's even a movie called Natural Born Killers. Great movie, by the way. But other bands with criminal names, Slayer, Asesino, Slayer. The Killers. I mean, that's their name right there, Los Asesinos. And they have a killer song. A killer song, de muerte, lo mejor. It's called Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. And this song was really inspired by the crimes of a killer, Robert Chambers, a.k.a. the Preppy Killer. Did you know that? I'm sure you guys know the song. Well, it has to do with a serial killer. Also the song, I Don't Like Mondays, by the Boomtown Rats. This song was inspired by the crimes of Brenda Ann Spencer. Brenda Ann Spencer, on January 29th, 1979, opened fire on an elementary school across the street from her home. She injured 9 students and killed 2 administrators. And then when they asked her for her motive, you say su móvil, her reason for doing the crime, she simply responded, I don't like Mondays. Well, Bob Geldof of the Boomtown Rats thought it was interesting enough to make a song. I don't like Mondays. It's not about Garfield the cat. It's about Brenda Ann Spencer. You've also got Hurricane by Bob Dylan, and that's also a movie too. And it's the story of Reuben Hurricane Carter, a boxer who was framed for murdering people that he didn't murder. And he spent most of his life in prison. I believe, who's in the movie? Denzel Washington plays Reuben Carter. Hey, Training Day, Hurricane. And if you haven't heard the song by Bob Dylan that inspired the movie, well, the story inspired the song, which inspired the movie. Here comes the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. Fascinating story, great song. Reuben Hurricane Carter. And there are a plethora of other songs that have to do with crimes. We already sang Bad Boys, what you gonna do? It's not just the movie Bad Boys, but what inspired the name of that movie is the series Cops. And the intro to today's show was inspired by the series Cops. And every other cop movie out there. There's even a movie called Copland. I think it stars De Niro and Sly Stallone. but even songs you wouldn't think have something to do with crime. Na 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 na. Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster, murderer. Excuse me, Mr. Officer, murderer. He's saying murderer, asesino, perdona, officer. Officer is what you would say to a police officer. And by the way, if you get pulled over in my country or questioned by a police officer, don't be a smartass. Just say, yes, officer. Thank you, officer. You're right, officer. Because we all know what can happen if not. So we talk about that too. It's another issue. The police are supposed to protect and serve. When have they crossed that line? And now it's police brutality. So there's another issue that's debated a lot. How much is too much? Also, The Clash have a couple songs that have to do with crime. One called Bank Robber, which, by the way, we call a bank robbery a stick-up. Okay, guys, stick 'em up. Eso es manos al aire. So it's called a stick-up. This is a stick-up. And then they've got the ever so catchy, I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. Then you got Paul McCartney, band on the run, band on the run. On the run is a la fuga. And there he says band. He means a music band. If you were going to say una banda como de calle, you would say gang. And don't forget about Steve Miller and his philosophy, the joker, the smoker, the midnight toker. He's got a song that goes, come on, take the money and run. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come on, take the money and run. Coge el dinero y pírate. This is an idiomatic expression. One of my favorite bands, Jane's Addiction, they have a song called, I've been caught stealing once when I was 5. I didn't just give in. It's just simple as that. So, been caught stealing, me pillaron robando. Y hurto, robar de una tienda, is shoplifting. Kind of makes sense. You lift something from a shop. Have you heard of the 5-finger discount? Eso es que lo has mangado. You stole it. How much was that? I got it in the 5-finger discount. Also, don't forget, you've got Britney Spears and her song Criminal. And another song that was inspired by vicious, heinous crimes, Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. And Richard Ramirez, a.k.a. the Night Stalker, inspired this song. There's a documentary about the Night Stalker. My wife and I have seen it. Yeah, see, I'm criticizing society for being so hungry for crime stuff, but I'm a part of that group. I guess, again, it's that morbid curiosity. Who knows? But I love the lyrics to Smooth Criminal. You want to sing along with me? As he came into the window was the sound of a crescendo. He came into her apartment, left the bloodstains on the carpet. She ran underneath the table. He could see she was unable. So she ran into the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom. Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. And if you like the Michael Jackson version, you'll love the Alien Ant Farm version. Check out Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm. It's a more rock and roll version. But did you know the lyrics to that song? Well, now you do. And what a great song it is. And don't forget about our friend Bob Marley. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I shot the sheriff. And Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley. And even Queen in Bohemian Rhapsody. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Goodbye, everybody. Even Queen. And don't forget about Johnny Cash, who did a series of concerts that are now famous at Folsom Prison. Check it out if you haven't seen those. Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the dark side, even though most crime is a dark side, right? It's the underbelly of a city, of a society. So let's talk about the crime rate. It looks like it's soaring in the United States. Again, I don't know whether to believe the mainstream media or not, But man, it does not look like a peaceful society. And our answers just keep putting people in prison. According to the figures I found, the U.S. prison system holds 1.9 million people in 1,566 state prisons, 98 federal prisons, 3,116 local jails, 1,323 juvenile correction facilities, 142 immigration detention facilities, and so on and so forth. I think it's no secret that the U.S. is the world's leader in incarceration. Go USA! And the sad part, nearly 500,000 inmates in the U.S. on any given day have not been convicted of a crime yet because the system is just bottlenecked. So people are sitting in prison for 3 years waiting for trial, and they haven't been proved guilty yet. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? And we already talked about the idea of whether prison really rehabilitates somebody. And most studies show that it doesn't. It actually has adverse psychological effects on the people who are there, especially if they're there for some kind of misdemeanor. But obviously, it increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and the risk of being a repeat offender, which is the whole reason we want to get you in there. So you won't offend again, so you won't be a repeat offender. But it's not working. At least it doesn't seem like it is. So there are experts who are looking over this every day. But don't forget, the prison system is privatized. It's a big, big business. So more people incarcerated means building more prisons, more money in the pockets of these fat cats. And you can blame video games, music, and all that jazz, and I agree. But also I agree that it's a parent's responsibility to decide what is consumed in a home. And I don't just mean food. I mean entertainment and everything. But kids have access to technology, and they can see fights. I mean, how many times have I opened up my Twitter and seen somebody shooting somebody or beating somebody up? We're normalizing this shit. And we'll talk about capital punishment really quickly. Have you heard of Old Sparky? Old Sparky is another name for the electric chair, which was invented by a dentist. Sounds like a really good dentist. Oh my God. I wonder if he was torturing his patients, or at least using them as guinea pigs. Well, as many of you know, the electric chair is still in use in some states. And what about hanging? Well, hanging is still legal in Washington, New Hampshire, and Delaware. In 1977, they introduced lethal injection, but that's a big debate, capital punishment. Do we do it? And I'm not going to share my opinion about this because I really don't have one. Thankfully, this is not an issue I deal with. I think this and a lot of the issues that politicians bring up are just distractions. So I'm not even going to comment on capital punishment. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about why we're making the same money we were making 5 years ago and everything costs double. That's what we should all be talking about. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Forget about capital punishment. How many criminals do you know? Violent criminals. Anyway, moving on, let's take a look at some idiomatic expressions. Here's one. If you do the crime, you do the time. And this just means if you've committed a crime, well, to do time means to go to prison. To do hard time means to go to prison for a long time. If you're like the guys in our movie Shawshank Redemption, then you can break out of prison. There's even a show called Prison Break. And to break in is to enter in a place, to trespass. Somebody broke into our neighbor's house, entró a robar, and they were caught red-handed. This is how you say manos en la masa. I told them they had to spill the beans. They had to come clean. These are two different ways to say to confess. Or I was going to rat them out, chivarme de ellos, because they didn't cover their tracks. To cover your tracks is to make sure there's no evidence left behind. They thought they were going to get away with murder. Well, not literal murder, but this is an idiomatic expression. To get away with it, to get away with murder. Salirse con la suya, que no hay implicaciones. It's the opposite of when somebody throws the book at you. If we say the judge threw the book at him, that means he really punished the person severely. Another idiomatic expression, it's highway robbery. Robo por la autovía. That's when something is really expensive. How much was this smoothie? $12? This is highway robbery. I had one yesterday that was a steal. A steal no es un robo, sino un chollo. And speaking of steal, I hope these episodes have stolen your hearts and minds. And I hope you'll join us in next week's episodes of FYI.